powerful Typhoon Gaemi hits Taiwan. More than 200 dead in southern Ethiopia landslides. Pilot survived Nepal crash after cockpit split from plane. Secret Service director resigns amid backlash. Monday was the world's hottest day ever recorded. U.S. female fighter pilot scores historical first.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Friday, July 26th, and here are your top stories. Typhoon Gaemi made landfall in northeastern Taiwan early on Wednesday, bringing heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and a dangerous storm surge, killing at least 2 people and injuring hundreds of others. Authorities closed financial markets, schools, and offices. It reached land in Eland County with sustained winds up to 125 miles per hour, equivalent to a Category 3 major hurricane in the Atlantic. The typhoon has already moved over to the Taiwan Strait Thursday and made landfall in mainland China's Fujian province, bringing more strong winds and downpours to a country already hit hard by weeks of extreme rain and deadly flooding.
Taiwan is often struck by typhoons and has a generally strong track record in preparing for the damaging winds and downpours they can bring, especially in its cities. Taiwan's Central Meteorological Agency, CMA, issued a sea and land typhoon warning for the entire main island, while President Lai Ching-te urged residents not to travel unless they can ensure their safety. Most Taiwanese cities closed schools and offices on Wednesday and Thursday, and Taiwan Railways suspended some rapid train services. More than 50,000 households in Kaohsiung were without power. Dozens of flights and all regular train services were also canceled for Wednesday and Thursday.
The death toll from 2 landslides in the remote region of southern Ethiopia on Monday has risen to 229. The Communication Affairs Department of Goza Zone said Tuesday that 148 males and 81 females had been killed. A local official told the Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation that children were among the dead and the death toll was likely to increase. According to Reuters, heavy rainfall caused the 2 landslides and many people were buried in the first one. A second then claimed the lives of several people helping with the rescue efforts.
According to geological surveys, Ethiopia is prone to landslides during the rainy season. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, said in a report that in parts of the country, including the southern region, floods triggered by heavy rains have displaced thousands of people in recent months. OCHA reported in November that at least 43 people died from floods and landslides last year. Southern Ethiopia has previously suffered devastating landslides that killed and displaced dozens of people. In May 2018, 45 people were killed in twin landslides that happened within hours of each other in the West Arsi, Sidama, and Gamo Gofa zones.
The pilot who survived a deadly plane crash in Nepal was saved after his cockpit was sheared off by a freight container seconds before the rest of the aircraft crashed in flames. Captain Manish Ratna Shakia, the sole survivor of the disaster that killed 18 people at Kathmandu Airport, is being treated in the hospital. But BBC Nepali has confirmed he is talking and able to tell family members he is all good. Rescuers told the BBC that they had reached the stricken pilot as flames neared the cockpit section of the aircraft embedded in the container.
Nepal's Civil Aviation Minister, Badri Pandey, described how the aircraft had suddenly turned right as it took off from the airport before crashing into the east side of the runway. CCTV footage shows the aircraft in flames careering across part of the airport before part of it appears to fall into a valley at the far edge of the site. Pandey said, "It hit the container on the edge of the airport. Then, it fell further below. The cockpit, however, remained stuck inside the container. This is how the captain survived. The pilot was rescued within 5 minutes of the crash and was very scared but had not lost consciousness at that time. An army ambulance then took him to the hospital, and investigations are underway to determine the cause of the crash."
The director of the Secret Service resigned Tuesday in the aftermath of the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, which unleashed an outcry about how the agency failed in its core mission to protect current and former presidents. Kimberly Cheeto, who had served as Secret Service Director since August 2022, faced growing calls to resign and several investigations into how a gunman was able to get so close to the Republican presidential nominee at an outdoor campaign rally in Pennsylvania. She said, in light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I have made the difficult decisions to step down as your director.
Cheetle's departure is unlikely to end the scrutiny of the long-troubled agency after the failures. It comes at a critical juncture ahead of the Democratic National Convention and a busy presidential campaign season. Lawmakers on both sides have promised more investigations. An inspector general probe and an independent, bipartisan effort launched at President Joe Biden's behest will keep the agency in the spotlight. Cheetle's resignation came a day after she appeared before a congressional committee and was berated for hours by both Democrats and Republicans for the security failures. She called the attempt on Trump's life the Secret Service's most significant operational failure in decades, but angered lawmakers by failing to answer specific questions about the investigation.
According to preliminary data from the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service, the global average temperature reached 17.15 degrees Celsius on Monday, toppling the prior day's record of 17.09 degrees Celsius. In other words, the planet had its two warmest days back-to-back this week. Higher than normal winter temperatures in Antarctica helped push the globe to new highs. The records represent a milestone that climate scientists don't expect to last long, as humans continue to fuel climate change by pumping fossil fuel pollution into the atmosphere.
Bob Henson, a meteorologist and climate writer for Yale Climate Connections, said that while he was not surprised by the broken records, the temperature spikes over the last 2 years have still been startling. People have been feeling the effects of extreme heat globally this week and throughout the summer. California faced triple-digit temperatures on Monday, raising wildfire concerns. Temperatures soared to 47 degrees Celsius in Dubai's Al Daid. Southern Europe continued to swelter, with parts of Spain and Portugal under heat advisories. Besides climate change, this summer's heat is intensified by El Niño, a natural pattern that warms sea surface temperatures in the tropical eastern Pacific and elevates global temperatures.
A U.S. Navy fighter pilot has become the first American woman to score a victory in air-to-air combat. The anonymous female pilot was flying an F/A-18 Super Hornet off the aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower as part of Strike Fighter Squadron 32, nicknamed the Flying Swordsman. The aerial victory came against a one-way Houthi attack drone, one of the dozens the Yemen-based group has deployed against civilian merchant ships in the Red Sea and nearby waters in reaction to the destruction in Gaza during Israel's war against Hamas.
The squadron amassed over 3,000 combat hours and nearly 1,500 combat missions as part of Operations Inherent Resolve and Prosperity Guardian. The former targeted ISIS, while the latter was established in December 2023 to address Houthi-led attacks on international shipping. The Swordsman, one of 4 strike fighter squadrons deployed on the Eisenhower, fired over 20 air-to-air missiles against Houthi drones during these missions. The Navy said, during one mission, VFA-32 became home to the first American female pilot to engage and kill an air-to-air contact. This victory comes 30 years after Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen became the first carrier-based female fighter pilot in the Navy, flying the F-14 Tomcat off the USS Abraham Lincoln.
The answer for July 23rd was A. Undertake. The company has announced that it will undertake a full investigation into the accident. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of powerful Typhoon Gaemi hits Taiwan. Number 1, equivalent. 相等的东西等量. Breathing such polluted air is the equivalent of smoking 10 cigarettes a day. Number 2, downpour. 倾盆大雨, 暴雨. A heavy downpour interrupted the football match. Number 3, sustain. 是持续, 保持. He has sustained his fierce social conscience from young adulthood through old age. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced next week. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.